Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you all for having me here today. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here. I so admire the work you do. It's remarkable how your dedication and your generosity and your commitment to bringing in this next generation of scientists, I can't tell you how much I admire it, so thank you very much. So, I graduated from Stanford University, and at the end of my undergraduate, because of a number of twists and turns, I was able to participate in a research expedition to the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and I fell in love with it. I loved the adventure of being at sea, and I loved the big questions that I could ask about how the Earth system works and the roles that the ocean play in regulating the health of our planet. Now, fast forward a few years, and as they said, I'm the head of the School of Oceanography at UW. And one of the really fun things that I get to do is at the end of graduate student recruitment period, this very intensive 2 days where we're trying to recruit the best and the brightest to our school, I'm the one that gets to tell this very small subset of students that we would like to offer you an ARCS fellowship. Now imagine how much fun that is. I get to watch first the surprise that goes across these students. Then, as I tell them more about what an ARCS fellowship, how we chose them, I start to see the pride that comes. And then there's this moment where you can see them doing the internal calculation in their head. And they're saying, oh, that's going to make a real difference to me, right? And it does make a difference to them. We're recruiting students from across the country. It allows these students to come to the University of Washington, where I am, but to our region, and they still have enough money to go visit their family. So this is a wonderful undertaking. So what happens once we're able to bring these great students to the university? Well, you've all gotten to hear that these four that we heard, and I hope you've been able to talk to students at your table. Imagine working with them on a daily basis. They keep you on your toes. They make all the faculty better. They are inspirations for the undergraduates in our program. The undergraduates get to see that you can be smart and cool at the same time, and that's really important to these students as they start to progress through their careers. So I like to believe, and I think we all would agree, that your work through the ARCS Foundation helps us recruit these wonderful students to the universities, and they become part of this very important enterprise, this ecosystem. And you know, at University of Washington, we're all now reveling in the latest ranking that said the University of Washington is the top-ranked public university for innovation in the world. Okay? Yeah. Now, you may not know this other fun fact, but we're reveling of it in oceanography, is that the latest rankings place environmental sciences, earth sciences at the University of Washington within the top 10 in the world, and we are only bested by 2 other academic institutions. So part of what we're doing with bringing in these fabulous students into our program has to do with this kind of creating this innovative ecosystem. So I'm going to end with one story that I'd like to tell you about the direct impact that the ARCS Foundation has had on our program. So in 2005, there was a student, a very talented young man that graduated from the University of California, San Diego. He was recruited to the physics department here, we just heard about. He was recruited to the physics department for his PhD with an ARCS fellowship. He then did wonderful work, He then finished his PhD, was recruited to go do postdoctoral research at MIT. He was one of the top-ranked people in the country, recruited to MIT to continue his postdoctoral research. A couple of years later, he was on the job market for an assistant professorship. And we were in the School of Oceanography, was in competition between MIT and Cal Berkeley for recruiting this very talented young man as an assistant professor. Well, guess who won? The University of Washington was able to bring him back to the university as an assistant professor. Why? Because of the innovation that happens here in our region, but also because he fell in love with the university when he was recruited here as an ARCS Fellow. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for helping us recruit this great guy back to the university, who I know will continue to make a huge impact on students for generations to come. So what I'd like to do now is to ask you all to continue with your generosity, continue with your commitment to helping foster this next generation of students. So there are envelopes, I believe, at each of your tables that can be used for your donations. There are table captains that will help you if you have questions, and will collect this. And so thank you so much for your generosity here. It really makes a difference.